Thank you very much, Josh. I think we are in a difficult and challenging period now. I think for Petronas, we have multiple businesses that we have to look after, and our priorities is always along the key core businesses in upstream, downstream, gas and maritime, and not to forget, the renewable energies and also the CCS. And on upstream, the focus is a lot more on building the right portfolio, the portfolio that can stand the volatility of price. We talk about break-even price, because how do you drive the break-even price as low as possible? So that would mean that we have to be a lot more efficient, both in terms of how do we deliver the barrel, and even selection of the asset coming into the portfolio is going to be very crucial for us. So the priority for us is to look at, to work within those parameters to build the strong portfolio as much as possible. On the LNG side, we continue to establish our global presence in LNG. The emphasis and priorities for us is to continue to build multi-nodes supply. We are spreading our presence globally out from our traditional Bintulu area. So we are setting our base, new LNG presence in Canada and hopefully Suriname. That will be probably the next big presence in LNG for us. And as far as downstream is concerned, I think the focus for us is to pivot away from the traditional petrochemical products. We are moving away to a more specialty chemicals that finding the niche market. And of course, not to mention we are still putting a stake in the ground on renewable as part of our new energy business, keeping our feet in the ground so that we'll try to build a healthy portfolio around this segment. And not also to forget, we are also establishing the base on CCS. And CCS is going to be one of our main agenda, together with the renewable energies, as far as managing our transition energy, the energy transition progress for Petronas. So in the broad sense, those are some of the strategic focus what we are focusing on from upstream down to renewable business.
So I think just a follow-up question as well. It seems as though, for sure, Petronas is kind of invested across the entire energy value chain, right? We talked about upstream, about gas, about downstream renewables, as well as, I guess, low carbon CCS, for example. And maybe just honing in on the topic on CCS, I guess, right? How are you thinking about that business, right? Is it more of an enabler for oil and gas development, or are you thinking of it more as something that could become like a huge industry going forward?
Well, we have a clear energy transition strategy in place for Petronas. Of course, the priority for us is to look at the physical decarbonization as a top priority. Then we move down the chain, and CCS and probably electrification and right down to nature-based solution as part of our energy transition agenda. Specifically on CCS, we decided to build CCS as a business, moving away from the traditional component of any gas field development. So we believe that there is actually a good market and good opportunity for us to get into services for CCS. So we are establishing the hubs, the 2-3 hubs in Malaysia. We are progressing quite well in that sense, and we are also talking to the potential emitters, from the likes of Japan, Korea, and even Singapore, for potential emission, the CO2 emission transportation, to be stored in the storage sites in Malaysia. And we are also trying to building our portfolio around CCS beyond Malaysia. We are looking at few opportunities, in the UK as well, to try to diversify the scope of our CCS. And it is. I must say, this part of the business is rather challenging because the commercial framework is still very fluid. And it's about managing the cost correctly, because we talk about the capture of the CO2, the transportation, the processing at the terminal, and the storage at the offshore site. So it involves various cost components along the way. So the challenge for us is actually to build the commercial framework that meets the economic viability at every stage. So that's something that we are currently focusing on.
Thank you, Andrew, for the question. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. Selamat siang, everyone. It's always good to be here, talking to everyone, IPA audience, everyone in the oil and gas industry, whether you are the stakeholders, whether you are the operators and the contractors, business partners. This is a very important topic today, and I think when we talk about Indonesia, Petronas, we look at Indonesia as our key market in our international portfolio. So we are operating on the upstream business. We are operating in 11 countries, and we always see Indonesia as a lot of potential, and we've been here for the last 20 years. And we see a lot of steady growth, especially in the last 3 years. And when I'm here, starting end of 21, and we've signed a lot of contracts. I think we coming in and then we see potential, especially after COVID, right? And then we see picking up of the oil price, and also you look at the demand of gas around the world and also in Indonesia. And we see that's why we are expanding. We're signing exploration block at our East Java, North Ketapang, nearing to our current operation, and also we discovered resources in North Madura too, and now we are planning to develop the field, Hidayah field, expected to be first oil in early 2027, which we are looking forward to expedite it and shows our capability, and looking at East Java as a hub. And as you witnessed just now, Petronas, we signed our GSA, HOA for the gas. We see that East Java, West Java is the demand center for the gas, and we see the demand is there, and we are looking into continue to put our effort in the East Java area, with some signing of a new PSC and exploration. And we plan to drill exploration well end of this year. We just awarded a long-term rig with a very good term. The DCR is very good. I think that will be the benchmark for the industry, for Indonesia especially. I think that will spur a lot of investment in Indonesia, looking at the current things that are happening. So apart from that, as mentioned by Andrew, we are looking also at the frontiers. I think the last 2 years, SKK Migas and Migas has been promoting a lot of blocks, right? And focus area on the frontiers, and how else can we grow in that area. And we talk about some of the why I think it has been very prolific in terms of the activities. I heard that we already have, like, in Indonesia, joint studies, about 20 of them. And Petronas right now is participating in maybe 1/3 of the JSA, and we are looking into more areas that we can explore with our partners, right? And I think apart from the subsurface potential, there's a lot of area that is still undiscovered. We also look at the current situation for the last 3 years. You can see that fiscal and regulatory environment has changed. A lot of, I think the government have opened up with a lot of opportunity for the operators, for the partners to look into how can we expedite projects, yeah, as mentioned by Roberto and Adnan about in Andaman and Kute. And I think the Eastern Indonesia is a place where we need to go more and look at in depth the area and how to develop it. And we have a support on the fiscal term. I think, well, everyone knows about all this, the profit split that is improved in terms of the risk base when it's exploration, high risk, then it's government willing to open more, increase the splits. I think that's helped. And also you can see that it's all in the news that the demand for gas, especially for Indonesia, is increasing for the next 10 to 15 years. So we want to be in a strategic position in order for us to deliver gas to the market. I think Petronas, as one of the leaders and experienced in LNG, we've been operating LNG onshore LNG plant in Malaysia, and we are also building. We already built 2 floating LNGs that is operating right now, and also we're building the next one, yeah, for our Eastern Malaysia area. And I think that is also a way for us to show our commitment that we want to grow in Indonesia, yeah. And I think one of the interesting factors as well is you have a lot. I think recently we heard that our President Prabowo mentioned about the success of the Natuna South Forel and Terubuk, where the project has been given an incentive, and also the local participation is done by a local operators with the support, and is being done in Batam, so that we have a lot of skill, capabilities, and also support services in Indonesia. And now we know that Batam is one of the area where a lot of activities coming in. We have support from the contractors, service providers, and also right now with the relaxation of local content. I think that is a welcoming gesture as well by the government, that we as industry, we can propose something that is more efficient, right, cost-effective matter with the current situation where the geopolitics and the issue with tariffs and supply issues around the world. I think that is very important to build that access to capability, to support services and everything local around here. I think that is something that we need to harness more, and with the support from the industry, I think that will be important for us to build the market over here in Indonesia.